It is fascinating that an increasingly large number of people in the United States have become interested in the practice of what may generally be called meditation or contemplation, according to rules that have been followed for centuries in Asia. And one of the reasons for this is that the religions which are generic to the West, Judaism, Christianity, and even Islam, are more talkative than contemplative. In other words, when you go to a church service, if you're a Protestant, you expect the main event to be the sermon, and also the minister's prayer, offered more or less spontaneously, telling God how to control the universe. And if you're a Catholic, you expect the Mass, which has now been translated into English so that everybody can supposedly understand it, and has thereby been degraded from what Hindus would call mantra, the use of sound for meditation, to a merely instructive affair. We are very verbose in our religion. And because of that, it's all words, words, words. And only rarely does this help us to transform our consciousness. And this is more and more people are realizing is the important thing. Because we discover this, that our extremely powerful technologies are magnifiers or amplifiers. When we do what we will, what we think we desire with technology, we are, as it were, blowing up our image of ourselves to enormous proportions. And many of us are beginning to realize that we don't like it. We discover ourselves to be beings that are hostile to the environment and that are bent on dominating it to the point of destruction. That we don't feel at home in the universe. We feel that our skin, at the very least, is a boundary between a palpitating, sensitive consciousness that's terrified of what's outside the skin and terrified of a good deal that's inside it, like bacteria and cancer cells, weak arteries, cholesterol, what have you. So we have this strange thing that Lancelot White called the European dissociation, the feeling of oneself as a prisoner.
The idea you have about who you are is not you. You're beyond ideas. For this reason, you can perceive them. No feeling can contain you.
And therefore, when news comes from all about, whether it be from the Orient or whether it be from experiments with psychedelic drugs, when news comes that this feeling of our own existence may be a hallucination, is there some other mode of consciousness which one can be in, which is not this alienated mode?
Let whatever is holding on, hold on with all its might. You forget about it. Can it be as simple as this?
Because we feel, I think many of us, very, very strongly, that if there is such a place, we would like to be there. That, of course, entails difficulties, which we shall go into. But this is the starting point of the fascination for yoga, for zazen, and also for the Taoist forms of meditation. which are much less known. But there arise problems about this when we are going to convey these disciplines to Western people. Because Western people who are interested in things of this kind are apt to be very interested. Where things of this kind have been known for thousands of years, there is a tendency for them to become rather rotish. And therefore, the way of teaching these disciplines, which many Asian teachers use, are designed not for mature adults, but for relatively young people who are not interested in learning. In other words, when a kind of religion, let's take the case of Zen Buddhism, or in Chinese it is called Chan. When, after some years, pious people have followed these disciplines and learned to enjoy them, so in the Taoist doctrines, there is a principle called Wu Wei. And this means, Wu means none, or not, no, negation. Wei has a combination of meanings. It can mean action, making, but the best translation I have found for it is forcing. And so Wu Wei is the principle of not forcing in anything that you do.
You will never get it the way you conceive of it in your mind through your own projection or fantasy or imagination. And if you have an idea that, okay, this is how it should be, then you will never see how it is.